I was born and bred in Melbourne. I did my education, and at that stage it was when I decided I wanted to go travelling, but the best way to travel was to join an international company. So then I sought employment for an international company, and that's when I was lucky enough to join the Hermes company in Germany in the abrasives industry. An interesting exercise going forward, purely because of the variety of customers we deal with, and working for an international company gave me the opportunity to travel internationally, learn the industry from an international viewpoint. And then in 2009, we had the opportunity to purchase the Australian subsidiary of that German company. That was an opportunity too good for me to refuse, so we privatised, went forward with our own ideas into the marketplace. We expanded a little bit about the product range that we have. Since then, we've been growing continually. We started in 1978, and our first location was nearby in Moorabbin. It's a very small factory. We stayed in Moorabbin for 5 years, then moved to Cheltenham, the next suburb, for 30 years. In 2013, we relocated to Abrasive. I had the opportunity to purchase our own building, and almost immediately we acquired the building behind us for expansion as well. So we have been growing quickly. We were able to broaden our product range and move into different areas. We were able to increase our sales significantly.
I started when I was 17, back in 1980, back in Trent Street where we originally started. So yeah, been here I think 36 years. I was 5 years, I left and went to a distributor of ours. Took my family down to Tasmania for 2 years. Hermes employed me down there and then moved me back, and I've been with them ever since. John's been a terrific boss. You know, he's looked after me in tough times. I just haven't thought of going anywhere else.
We're in the abrasives industry. Basically, we sell sandpapers and grinding wheels, as the layperson would know, into industrial applications. And we predominantly only sell to other manufacturers. We're not a retail outlet.
So I think what makes the abrasives industry so special is because you get to see such a variety. It goes into so many things that we use every day, from the spoons you eat your cereal with, to the floors you walk on, to the windows you look out. It's all a part of the abrasive journey. Is at some point they've been sanded by an abrasive product. And so I think that what's kind of really interesting in working in an abrasive industry is that you get to be a part of something that everyday Australians use. They don't even necessarily realise, and if they don't realise, you're probably doing your job right, because it's smooth and they don't have to think about it.
Sometimes you'll go into an elevator and you will see a mirror finish. That is done with a particular type of abrasive. Without getting too technical, that's a silicon carbide abrasives. There's probably 6 different minerals that are on the abrasive itself. Each one of those grains will give a different finish. It has a different purpose. But if someone wants to have that matte finish in an elevator where there's not reflected, they'll go to an aluminium oxide finish. So these sort of products, just by changing the product, can change the type of finish that companies use. Now, some companies will go as far as experimenting with the different combinations, and you'll get all these exotic type finishes of grain patterns automatically showing up on the metal itself. I've seen artificial suede being made where they've used rolls of rubber and run it through a sanding machine, giving it a very fine finish, and then sell it onto the marketplace.
We work with the customer to try and find out what kind of finish they want, and then we kind of try and source the right abrasives for that. So whether we be manufacturing to the custom size requirements, or there might be slightly different makeup of the abrasive. It could be more zirconia, less aluminium, all these different kind of blends that go into the grain to make sure that we're giving the customer the best finish for their product.
It's rewarding because you're offering a product that the customer needs, and sometimes you do see the finished product, the end product. Like it could be a furniture, it could be a floor, it could be a number of different things, like repairing cars. So it's never boring.
So it really is a partnership, because if they're getting the best finish, it's a win-win situation for us. We want to see the best out there, and we want to supply the best abrasives for that job.
We're nationwide and we've included New Zealand into our nation. Now have a small manufacturing plant in West Coast of Australia, over in Perth, already have a company in Singapore, already have customers in Southeast Asia.
I'm just probably the link between the company and the salesman, be able to answer a few questions here and there, or any issues they have relating to products or relating to finishes.
The logistics from Australia is always going to be a bit of a headache, but every headache gives you that challenge to go forward.
Industry leaders. Industry leaders.
The Hermes company was the strong German manufacturer of it, and these days are a very high-tech product. There's different backings, there's different grains. Every company is trying to make product that lasts longer, whether it's for titanium sanding or whether it's for soft pine. As you can imagine, there's a big difference in hardness between the two types of products, and we have a product for both. We do carry literally 10,000 or more different types of products, and matching that with the right application can be a headache as well. So it's not just a simple question of come in, I want to buy some sandpaper, because their generally response is, what do you want to do with that sandpaper? If you're sanding timber, we can just give you a paper product at a lower price, because it's a very soft surface to sand. We are always looking at new opportunities and always are surprised by the type of counts. A good example might be that we were able to sell sandpaper to the Formula One people, because when they built the Albert Park Lake circuit here in Melbourne, when they laid the concrete and painted the concrete, all the Formula One cars were sliding past their pit stops. And by chance, one of our employees was associated, suggested why don't they just take some coarse grit sandpaper, glue it down onto the cement, and the cars will stop a lot quicker. And they did that. So we have a famous picture here of the McLaren team during the inaugural Formula One Grand Prix in Melbourne using our sandpaper to stop their cars. We make a variety of different products, mainly specialised, such as discs for disc sanding machines, such as belts in various sizes. A lot of people will know smaller belts for smaller belt machines, but we specialise in very large belts for the industrial purposes. This has been our strength and one reason why we pretty much have the largest facility for making belts in Australia. By large, I mean some of the largest belts we'll make could be 2.5 metres by 3 metres long. So it is a very large belt, and that would be used within the panel board industry.
One of the products that Midway Metals sell is polished number 4 stainless steel. In order to do that, we need a stainless steel polishing machine, which is behind me. This is the only one in Australia of its type, where we can polish stainless steel and brush stainless steel. Polished stainless steel, you end up getting a finish like all the food processing industry, in your lifts, elevators, shopping centres. We turn the 2B product into the number 4 by using Hermes Abrasives belts. The first part, we're going to load the belts onto the rollers within the machine. The belts will be loaded onto the polishing heads, and then we will bring the heads down to the right pressure. That pressure will then give us the product that we're after. The belts can last up to 1,000 metres. Yes, I've been dealing with Hermes Abrasives now for over 15 years. A very reliable supplier who build the belts in Melbourne, in their Melbourne facility. They also have a backup in Germany where they can bring belts in if need be. The belt joint is always good and we get a good yield out of each of the belts. But also very good customer service because they are local. You follow me down here? Now that's the final product that we're selling. We're selling that in a coil, as you can see. It's very smooth and it looks nice and consistent all the way across the steel. We're running from one coil to the next coil. Now we can apply plastic to the steel as well for extra protection. In this case we're applying paper, because sometimes if you get a slip metal on metal you will get scratches. The paper prevents any scratching. If the Hermes belts were not good quality belts, we'd then get a join mark about that wide all the way across the steel. That's one of the reasons why we like Hermes, with the consistency of their belts.
Timber floors is probably our main area in the flooring. Often when you might pull back a carpet, you might have a beautiful wood underneath, but it needs that kind of tender love and care to get it back to wood. So we do a lot with the floor sanding industry. There's different areas for flooring, so you can go from new floors or to restoration of floors.
So we're basically a one-stop shop for the timber flooring industry. Our main focus is the machinery that we import and the abrasive that goes on those machines. So the abrasives that we use are mainly Hermes Abrasives. We've been dealing with Hermes now for probably the better part of 10 years. The first job of any floor sander is to sand a floor flat, and anytime you sand any piece of material, you're basically scratching that floor. So you need to move up a set of grits, and a grit just basically refers to the coarseness of that paper. And basically all you're doing is trying to hide the deep scratches that you used. So you hide those by using another grit of paper. Then you do that again and try and hide those scratches a bit more. And the aim is to hide the scratches enough so that you can coat the floor and it looks like it's not scratched at all. Basically everything we sell in this place gets sold to a tradesman. I don't want to see them back here unless they're back here for a cup of coffee. I don't want to cross my fingers when they leave. Because it's all repeat business, you just want them coming in to find solutions for their problems. And a company like Hermes is easy to deal with because the reps that I use, I've got a problem, I make a phone call, and generally the problem's solved.
We always try to keep an eye on the market internationally and bring some of that international technology to the Australian manufacturers. We look at all our customers as our partners. If we can make their product better, it's better for us. Bottom line is innovation all the time. And we want to make sure that we're at the front of that all the time as well.